Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. It is time for JP's product pick of the week. It's me, JP, and I want to thank you so much for stopping by here today. First of all, I will welcome everyone in our chats, both over on YouTube as well as our Discord. Our Discord looks a lot like this right here, and if you're wondering where the chat is over on Twitch or some other place, you can head to adafruit.it/Discord, and you can get an instant link over to our Discord server, and then jump into the live broadcast chat channel. That'll do it. So next thing I'm gonna do is clean off these glasses because they're filthy. Hello there, Johnny Bergdahl. I see you're over in our chat on YouTube, and Dave Odessa, Mendeliano. Hello, and welcome. And hello to everyone who has stopped by over in the Discord chat. Franklin and Jim Hendrickson, Mike P, Todd Bott, C. Grover, Dexter, Johnny Bergdahl over there as well. Hello. And thanks for stopping by today. So before I go any further, I will let you know you can head over to the product page, and it's that URL that you see right there, as well as this QR code. That'll take you right there. This show appears inside of a window inside of that page, so you can watch from right within the page if you want. You're going to get a huge discount on today's product pick, and you don't need a coupon code or anything. Just throw it in the cart from that page, from this URL, and buy it before the end of the show or a little few-minute grace period, and you will get it for a tremendous discount. So next thing we'll do is actually have Lady Ada tell us a little bit about this new product pick. Take it away, Lady Ada.
The new updated Feather ESP32.
No, that's not it at all. Hey, I don't have the right video in there. All right, give me a second. Very cute. Hold on.
The new updated Feather ESP32 S3. Now you might be thinking, hey, wait, this sounds so familiar, didn't you?
That should sound very familiar because I did that just a couple weeks ago. All right, let's try this again. Sorry, I prepped the show yesterday, and then I think the gremlins came in and messed with stuff, so stand by. I've got it right here. I promise. And there it is. Almost there. I really mean it. Here we go. Almost. Hang on. Get ready for it.
Okay, by popular request, I'm finally getting to some more EyeSPI boards. There's just been so many revisions. And hold on, I actually had the demo, and then of course I put it away. So I'm going to use this magnetic cable.
Did I hit the? No, this. Sorry.
No.
5613. Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. So this is the EyeSPI Breakout board. So all of our displays that we've been making lately, people have said like, wow, the quick STEMMA QT stuff for I2C has been awesome because it makes it so easy to plug in I2C sensors, no soldering, you get power ground data clock. Wouldn't it be cool if you did the same thing for displays? And so the idea here is you can't use just wires because you need a lot of pins for displays because there's the SPI and the SD card and the touch screen and the memory and reset and backlight. So it's 18 pins. And if you look on like this image, you'll see our 1.9-inch display, which I'm also going to demo, has this little latchy connector on it. If you use this flex cable, and you can use a very long flex cable because flex cables are pretty good at high frequency data passing, you can then easily wire up displays that are not right next to your screen. So normally I'd have solder and wire and plug it all in, but this is actually just plugged in via this flex connector, and I'll disconnect with my magnetic USB cable.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll show it's really easy to insert this cable in. We have these in various lengths from short, medium, long, and you can of course get flex cables very easily in other lengths. And then this is just a breakout because you're like, okay, well, I've got the cable, I still have to wire it up on the other side, but this way it's like you don't have to pass long cables for the data. There's also another issue people were having where they're like, why am I not able to pass the 80 megahertz clock data so quickly through my jangly wires. It's like, well, you got jangly wires. This way you've got nice short breadboard wires, and they go into the cable, and the cable can snake out, and then you can mount this wherever you like without having to worry about cables hanging up. It's a much neater collection. Of course, we'll have little add-ons that are designed for Feather Wings and Raspberry Pi, but we wanted to start with the breakout board version.
Yes, indeed. So here, let me jump to my down shooter there. You can see it in all of its glory. Also, this is one of these ones that has a beautiful little silk screen graphic on it there. This right here is my product pick of the week this week. It is the EyeSPI Breakout. This is used for SPI displays. So when you want to hook up an SPI display to a microcontroller, usually you've got about 57 bazillion wires that you have to run. It's super annoying. And it's not just display. You can get the display wires, but you've also got the SD card memory over SPI on here. And there's a bonus couple of GPIO pins that are broken out and I2C. So the flex cables that work with this, these are these little FPC or flexible printed circuit cables. They come in a bunch of different lengths, and they're dead easy to attach. Let me go back to my overhead here, and we'll take a look at this in action. So here's a sort of medium length FPC cable. All you do is take your EyeSPI Breakout, lift the little gray connector flap there, insert the cable, and click that little connector back down to lock that in place. And then you do that on the other side for your display. So you'll notice we have a bunch of different displays now that have this great little EyeSPI connector and also the little logo on there. This is the 1.47 inch. This is a rounded rectangle one. Here's this really cool new square 240 by 240, also with SPI there. Flexible EyeSPI SPI. And here's this big Gigantor one. This is a 240 by 320, 2.2 inch TFT. Again, has your connector right there. And that means you're not dealing with all of these wires, because look what we used to have to deal with. Ugh. Here's a breadboard from a project I worked on previously. I think this was my Walkperson project. All of those cables there, that was all SPI, display, SD card, power, all the different clock and data lines for that. Big, enormous pain in the neck. Don't like it. Don't want to have to deal with it. Don't want to have to route that stuff around. Instead, now we've got, look at this. Here is a little Doom demo. I showed this before, running on the ESP32S3. And a little EyeSPI connector right there, nice long one, cable in this case, and it works perfectly great. Now, if I jump back to this down shooter here, and I'll lift this out and refocus it for a second, I'll show you, and there we go. I'll show you this in action. So I'm going to unplug from power, and what I can do here is put a different display. Let's hook a different display on here. So this is going to come off. I'll grab that new square 240 by 240 display. I'll lift up the little connector flap there and slide that in. Usually it's this blue side up on these. The pins face down towards the board. And with that connected, now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to swap out my feather, because I have a different, some different code that I want to run on that one. So here's a different feather. You can see here, however, how I'm using the little breakout rather than a breadboard. I've actually soldered this to some wires on a little feather tripler here, and those are going to a row of pins down here on this side of the feather to make it easy. So plug that into power there. And now I've got this cool little flying toasters demo here that I think Phil B. wrote this with graphics from the Ruiz brothers. So there, I've got a nice easy way to connect up a different display. I didn't have to solder in pins and plug that into a permaproto with some header on it or into a breadboard. Instead, I get this lovely, neat little flexi cable. Very, very happy about these flexi cables. If you want to check it out, head on over to this page right here. And Where'd you go? There you are. You can see here, if I reload this, 98 cents. That's all it's going to cost you to get one of these. You can get up to 10 of them. So if you have big plans for displays, get a few of these. And you can hook them up permanently or with header sockets and pins so that you can plug them onto different boards, different scenarios you want to use. Eventually, we'll be starting to see this connector, this EyeSPI connector, on the boards, on things like a Feather board. But for right now, we've got this first. This is the Breakout. This is sort of our entry into this world. And like Limor said, this is great because it's very similar to the convenience that we have with the Stemma QT/Quick for I2C, except now we have it for SPI. And like I said, this actually has I2C on it. So there's a lot of possibilities there for passing all kinds of data off your microcontroller and to the peripherals using just this one little cable and Breakout. So head on over to that page. You can pick a bunch of these up. And like I said, there's no coupon code needed. You can get it for half price right now. It's cheap anyway normally. It's usually $2, but right now you get it for about $1. You can get up to 10 of those, and we do have a bunch of them in stock, so go ahead and go wild with those. We don't have a Learn Guide on these, but if you look up any of the more recent displays, you will see mention made of the EyeSPI Breakout and EyeSPI connector, as well as the different cables that you can get for that. If you look on the product page here, I believe we have links for the different lengths of cables. So here's a 100 millimeter, 200 millimeter, there's a little baby 50 millimeter one, and then here's 3 of the different displays. I think we have 4 right now that use this connector. So let's see. Any questions? Let me know over in the chats. Aza has a really good general question, which is curious about max current. Datasheet for the FPC connector would be nice. Could use the connector for other non-TFT scenarios. Yes, we will probably get a datasheet. We don't have one, like I said, right now. There's not a datasheet for this or Learn Guide. Hopefully that's coming, and we'll be able to answer your question about max current on these. Toddbot says these cables are essentially the same as the Raspberry Pi camera connectors, so if you find a data sheet on those, it'll probably apply as far as current voltage that it can pass. Any other questions? Let's see, let me check over in the YouTube. Bold Barbecue Dorito says, will the bare bones macro pad be coming back in stock anytime soon? I hope so. That one is not using, I don't think that's using any chips that are hard to get right now, so it's just a matter of manufacturing. I think that's the RP2040, and I don't think there's any smaller chips on there that are hard to get. I could be wrong on that, but I think that one should be coming back. Let's see. No other questions. Oh, yeah, Mike P, does the cable need to be oriented in a particular way? Yeah, so if we jump back to the overhead here, I'll show you that in action. So essentially, the way that Limor's got these designed, and with the types of cables that we're using here, if you can see the top of the connector and you can see the blue part of the cable, the little blue stripe on the cable, then you've got it oriented correctly. The other side of that answer is there are visible pin connectors here, or little pad connectors on the cable. Those, if you see it shining there, connect to that part of the connector, so facing down or facing towards the board. I don't know if it'll like me hot swapping that while it's running like I just did. Let's find out. No, I should probably have to restart that. Let me, if I've got that oriented correctly, I'll do a little restart on there. There we go. And it's the same for the displays and for the Breakout, so same orientation there. Cable direction doesn't matter. There's not a polarity to the cable or anything like that as far as one end to the other doesn't matter. You can see it on this little shorter one, same sort of thing. So as long as you can see that blue stripe, you've inserted it into the connector properly. Blue stripe right there. And if you take a look at this a little closer here, let me get as close as this camera will allow and still focus. Oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stay. That's pretty good. Let's see if I can get something to point with here. There's a little pencil. So you can see here essentially everything you need for the display connections. Once you've brought this from the display over to your microcontroller, you're going to use this TCS, reset, DC, MISO, MOSI, usually only one of those actually, because the display isn't sending back this way. I can't remember which one. The serial clock, ground, light for the backlight, and voltage in. That's the stuff that you will definitely be hooking up if you're using this with a display in your microcontroller. These pins here on the right you're going to use for a SD card breakout. You'll see a lot of our displays have that little SD card breakout, which is great because SD card running over SPI bus is super fast. So you can stream MP3s off of them, as you see in the Walk Person project that I worked on. Then after our little set of SD, you've got the I2C, so serial clock and serial data. There's an interrupt you can use if you want to. I don't know what the busy is used for. And then these are two bonus GPIO pins, just extra pins. So you can hook those up to a couple of GPIO pins on your microcontroller if you have something happening on the other side that you're connected to that you want to use. A lot of the displays will just break out a subset of those. So if you look on this one here, you've got light, the SD card stuff, reset, mostly MISO, serial clock, ground, and the 3-volt in, or rather the V in you use. Usually you don't use this 3-volt one. So you'll see here there's not the I2C unless I'm missing it, or the busy or the extra GPIOs. So since there's 18 pins on that flexible cable, we're giving you all of those on the breakout. You just might not always see those on the other side. I suppose you could use a pair of these to send data between a couple of things. If you've got a microcontroller on one side and a permaproto or a circuit board on the other, and you just want a nice way to pass them, you don't necessarily have to use a display. You could send anything you want across those, but it is, as far as the silk screen on it, it is intended for use with your SPI display. All right, well, I think that is going to do it for today then. Let me go ahead and hook up a little connector cable on this one so I can hang it on my board there. Don't forget, you'll get the 50% off right now if you just head over to that page right there. You can just look up EyeSPI Breakout over on the Adafruit store. And that is going to do it for today. So my product pick of the week this week is the EyeSPI Breakout. Jump back to just that camera there. There we go. Everyone can see it. Product pick of the week this week is the EyeSPI Breakout. Thanks everyone so much. That is going to do it for another JP's product pick of the week. I will see you tomorrow night. There's going to be, actually tomorrow we've got, I believe we have 3 Hangouts in the morning. We'll have a show and tell, and then I'll be doing my John Parks workshop during the Ask an Engineer time slot, so come on by for that. No show on Thursday, so I'm doing the Wednesday show and no show, and that's going to be Thanksgiving, so if you celebrate it, I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. That's going to do it. See you next time. Bye-bye.